So here we go, jumping into another game on Fighting Spirit. This time it's going to be between our blue Terran player Dirtybag and in the bottom right here our yellow Zerg player Franscar. Now these are two insanely good players. Right now, Franscar is ranked number 3 on the North American ladder and number 1 on the European ladder, while Dirtybag is ranked number 8 on the NA ladder and number 3 on the European ladder. Right, 8 and... Is that right? 8 and... Actually, he's 8 and 6. He's 6 on the European ladder. Sorry, messed that up. But either way, these guys are definitely just about as high on the ladder as you can get at the moment. So, should be a really good high-level game. We're going to see exactly how the metagame is supposed to play out at this point. And I mean, really, this is like, I don't know. I'm really stoked to be casting this. Franscar's Overlord going to scout in the right direction starting out here. But I started to mention in my last video, I never really got finished saying it, talking about how the casters are having trouble deciding whether to cast for the totally new viewers, cast for people coming from Brood War, people coming from StarCraft 2, and because I mean it's its own game, but it's pooling players from a lot of different genres, as well as having players come in from like just that have never even played any sort of StarCraft game before. So I think what I'm going to try to do is make a couple of videos that just kind of highlight the major differences and try to get new players so that they can kind of jump right into it, whether you're coming from Brood War or StarCraft 2, so that you could just see the differences. I think I'm going to gear it. The Brood War players seem to have more of an easier time catching on, but the StarCraft 2 players, people who have never played Brood War, seem to have a real tough time kind of grasping new concepts on this. They all want to make a death ball and move out with it, or they don't want to do positional things on the map. They're just like, I just want to wall off my base and that's that. And I mean, that works in Starbow, but really, I mean, some of the really cool things you can do in Starbow is you can zone areas out on the map, you can separate your units, and you can create some really unique situations. This drone can come up here and scout that there's no base in the top left or the top right, so this Overlord's going to move over here where he can be safe. And I actually don't think he's safe, because this is the same height. So like if a Marine's here, I'm pretty sure they can still see that and shoot him. Pretty sure that's how that works. But the Marine's going to stay over here for now, because there's no reason that they would even think that an Overlord would be here. So, they're lost. Uh-oh, this Overlord going to come over here and try to see what he can see. And I think he's going to see the end of days. He sees that there's no wall, though. So he can bring something else up there to scout, which I'm guessing is what he was doing with this. This Overlord, he's giving me a heart attack, man. Going back and forth. Franscar going for a super early third base, though. How is that going to fare against these big group of Marines? And the Marines do see this Overlord, the Overlord running for his life, and he doesn't get over the high ground there. If he would have gone over this high ground, since there's no Marines up here, I'm pretty sure they couldn't have seen him. But either way, Overlord gets taken out. Pretty sure Franscar didn't expect to hold that Overlord very long with how crazy he was being with it. And these Marines look like they aren't even going to go try for this third base here. He is scouting to make sure that this third base isn't taken out. So mind games. Normally Zerg players are going to expand towards their opponent, especially when they're when this is natural to my new base. These Marines going to come in here, a couple of spine crawlers up. Should be enough to deal with this. We've got the Queen to enrage, we've got a couple of Zerglings, but Dirtybag now going to head down to this third, and looking kind of like what we saw last game. These couple of Zerglings going to try to run up and scout Dirtybag's main, I'm guessing, but these Marines definitely going to take out this hatchery, and unfortunately it just finished. So that means that this base is going to get taken out. There's 350 minerals gone right there for Franscar. And, oh, nope, Zergli's going to live. He's going to just keep on scouting. These Marines trying to chase him down. But the hatchery does get taken out. This larva also going to get taken out, so he's never going to become anything useful. Just was a worm. Only a few more Zerglings trickling out. Franscar not overcommitting to any sort of defense right now. And I guess that's actually because he's not got any larvae. So there goes that macro hatch. Since there's no third hatchery to help him get larvae up to buy units, he's going to have to get a macro hatch now in his main. And coming in here, metabolic boost on the way that'll let these Zerglings get a little bit more done. But with all these Marines, Franscar is going to be really hard pressed to find an opening for quite a while here. He's getting Evolution Chamber down, going to start those upgrades fairly shortly. And yeah. Oh no, you actually do need the Evolution Chamber, so we might just be getting that for Sport Color also, just in case Banshees come floating on over. But with all these Marines, he off of one base, I don't really think that the Banshees is something he has to worry about just yet. And I would actually I think a Baneling Nest would actually do wonders right now. Franscar obviously knows what he's doing. Well, there we go. Baneling Nest coming down. So yeah, I mean, it's all Marines, no medics. Medics do pretty okay against, because they don't count as light units. So the Banelings don't do as much damage to the medics. So the medics can actually tank quite a few Baneling shots. Firebats can also tank Baneling shots pretty well. But Marines get eaten by Baneling shots. So it's going to come down to how well he splits this army. And even then, I mean, you get a lot of Zerglings along with your Banelings, and splitting your army then can actually backfire, and then you've got Zerglings surrounding all your Marines, and that's it can get real bad real fast if you are just relying on Marines. One tank in the mix though, he's dedicated Baneling Hunter, or at least he will be pretty quickly here. Stim just about to finish, so he's probably going to push out as soon as Stim kicks in. He's got his Engineering Bay on the way to try to prepare for any sort of quick 2-base mutaplay. It's actually really common because mutalisks are good. Franscar a little bit supply blocked right now, and these Overlords will finish though, and he's going to be able to resume building units. More Zerglings on the way. I'd imagine that a lot of these are going to be Banelings. We've only got 5 Banelings out right now. Not set up for any sort of surround. This base is finished though, so Franscar did get a 3rd base down anyway. And these Spine Crawlers are going to try to reposition themselves so they're not so far forward and can allow the Banelings to try to get in there a little bit more. And the scan, of course, does reveal a lot of Banelings. These Marines picking off a couple of drones, quite a few drones that are transplanting actually. 2 tanks in here along with 2 Firebats, and this push is getting scarier and scarier by the minute. These Zerglings might be able to come in and get a nice little surround. It's hard to say though at this point. Siege Tech about to finish, and once that finishes, Franscar is going to be in a world of hurt. So he's got a small window right now where he can move in before these tanks are prepared to do anything. A couple of tanks out by themselves. Zerglings look like they wanted to take that fight, but they know they can't with all these Marines. And Zergling's going to run in here and run back out. He's just giving some units away right now, trying to test his opponent's strength. Maybe trying to bait some stims here. And the Spine Crawlers start getting shelled away. Luckily they can get up and move. So seeing some nice Spine Crawler micro right now. Moving the wounded ones to the back. And that scan's going to prompt the Bioforces to run in here as most of the Spine Crawlers are out of commission. Baneling's not able to make the connections they need to get. And there they go, retreating again. He just doesn't have the surround. Dirtybag pushing into this natural here. And a couple of Hydralisks joining the fight. Now we've got Lurkers on the field. And the Lurkers already taking shots from the tanks. They're going to burrow. Are there scans available? The Lurker's not really in range of anything right now anyway, but the tanks do get left alone. And the only Marines now against these Baneling, Hydralisks, and Zerglings. Well, actually a couple of Firebats did hang out there for quite a while, but the Lurkers going to make short work of those. And that leaves only a couple of Marines, 2 medics with no energy to repair this. Reinforcements though coming across the map. Lurkers burrow, and that's going to zone this area out. Oh, this Marine's so lucky. Totally dodged that Lurker shot there, and one Zergling losing his life to a tank. Scan goes down on the Lurkers in range of the tanks, but these Marines will be more than enough to clean that up. So Lurkers are forced to retreat. This Lurker keeping his life, and now Dirtybag's going to come down and try to shut down this 3rd. Once again, only one Hydralisk scanning at the high ground. There is a high ground advantage, but I'm not sure it's that effective. And the Lurkers and Zerglings coming in from behind, they're going to clean this up. There's no way this base is going to fall right now. We've still got Lurkers, well, 1 Lurker back home to defend anything going into the natural, and that Bioforce gets cleaned up really quickly. Just one medic living as long as possible. Medics are so tanky, they don't look like it with their nice white armor. And I know in in the promo art for Brood War and stuff, it looked like they were wearing this plastic kind of armor, but definitely not. If it is plastic, it is some high-tech plastic from StarCraft universe. And Spinecrawler's looking so wounded, but so brave. This one has 1 kill, this one has 2 kills. So they've done their part for sure. Nice little run by here with a couple of Lurkers and some Zerglings. I don't think he's going to really get a lot done here. Really nice defensive posture. Dirtybag not getting caught off position or anything like that. Like you'll see some lower level plays where like people just forget to siege their tanks back home, and I mean not even necessarily lower level. Actually, to be totally honest, there's some high level replays that I've seen where people just forget to siege the tank, forget to keep their units spread out, and they just end up getting. I mean, they don't die to counter pressure, but take a lot of damage to it. That tank that was abandoned is finally taken out. And Franscar going to keep moving across here. We've got +2 Carapace on the way. We've got +1 weapons about to finish for the Terran player. More Spine Crawlers. Viper's Nest coming out now, so we will get Hive Tech coming up really quickly off of this 3 base. And maybe start to see some Ultralisks. Oh, we've got Science Vessels on the way out now as well. Second Starport going down. And no Irradiate or anything like that yet. But I'm sure we'll see that coming up pretty quickly. Getting that creep spread going on finally. Franscar going to try to join these bases. I suppose, actually, I guess, without the speed boost, I guess it's really not that important to join your bases like it was in StarCraft 2, so this might just be for map presence. I was watching, I forget which game it was in the Starbow weekly ladder tournament thing, and there was a Zerg player who had this base and set up a nice little like spine crawler wall across here, and it made the Terran player have to run the whole way around this center area here to do any damage. And the tank's going to try to get in position to push these back. The Science Vessel is going to detect that, and that's going to be a lot of trouble for Franscar here. He's not going to have a lot of time getting anything done with these Lurkers. One Lurker shot goes off, does a lot of damage there, but he does lose the Lurker for it. Lurkers just keep edging back, not wanting to stay in range of the siege tank, obviously. There we go, every time the siege tank's unsieged, the Lurkers move back a foot. And this is the kind of stuff that separates the really good players from the not as good players. And the tank's sieging up in range here. One Lurker gets taken out, and this tank actually living there. And the Lurker gonna be forced to retreat just a little bit further, but he's really forcing. Look how slow he's making Dirtybag's push speed. Any normal player would have gotten their Lurkers up, ran home, and tried to prepare a defense, but Franscar just keeping Dirtybag in the middle. He's even going to move his Lurkers around the north side so that Dirtybag can't actually push out with this. He has to come back to his natural to defend all over again. This one tank, he's so close to dying. I really want to see Franscar pick this off. He's toyed with death far too many times to just be able to live. So frustrating when you see a key unit with like no health. Oh, nice. One shot goes off. It actually doesn't hit anything, but it was a nice idea. And he's going to come in here and block off any reinforcements, it looks like. Oh, the Science Vessels are in place, but there's not enough firepower to deal with these. Irradiate going down on 2 of these. Oh, and the splash damage is actually damaging that other Ultralisk. Is this? Oh no, never mind. That was probably the Marine shots. I thought those was Irradiate, but I'm probably just, like, not the smartest person right now. The siege tank still living and is going to start shelling away at this spine crawler. No, not seeing the 6 spine crawler micro from earlier. But it looks like the spine crawler did get another shot off before he died, so maybe it was for the better. Another spine crawler getting taken out, and this Lurker actually getting shot. The splash damage from this one hurting this Lurker quite a bit here. And that tank is finally taking out. A couple of Lings lose their lives, but it's totally worth it just to see that happen. A couple of Scourge trying to take out these Science Vessels, but it's just not going to happen. Another Radiate going down on another Lurker. And the Marines trying to come forward and pick off this one Lurker, and they do. Manage to take it out there. Ooh, and the Lurkers rushing the forces here. They're definitely going to take out this tank, but and it looks like he's going to scare the entire Bioforce back home as well. The Zerglings running up there getting fried out by these Firebats. Science Vessel will live to see another day. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to take 2 Scourge to kill that, but I think the Scourge died before he quite hit the Science Vessel. We've got creep spread everywhere, except this one right here. The Zerglings are just going to block this expansion, but the Marine's going to come over here and clean that up real fast. And Dirtybag actually, I'm not sure if he saw that drone transfer or not. I think he might have just barely missed it, but big stim there to take care of this Overlord. A little bit over stim. Scan going to go down and see these poor drones trying to run for their lives. Can't imagine they're going to live very long, but the Lurker's going to come down and trap these forces in. And that means Dirtybag's going to have to march his entire force down this tiny ramp. Unless Franscar goes up the ramp first, and then he's not going to have to march them down anywhere because they're going to be dead. Big shots there. Science Vessel is going to have to do a lot of irradiating here in a second. Nice little kiting here from Dirtybag. Well, one medic gets picked off. Now he's going to start moving his lurkers in smaller groups. Irradiate going down on 2 of the lurkers. One of the lurkers gets taken out before doing any real damage. Scourge going off, not hitting anything. God, these Marines are like a Science Vessel force field. More Radiate's going down, but these Marines are trapped between a couple of lurker groups, and they will eventually get totally cleaned up. The reinforcements, though, looking just as horrifying. It looks almost like that entire army that just got wiped out just resurrected back at Dirtybag's base. We got Ventral Sacs going to be able to start doing some drops here for Franscar. Really good to do. You can load up Zerglings in there, and the Overlords drop them off. You can load up Lurkers. You can get some really nice positioning. Drops are just really powerful in Starbow, and it's really fun to see. It comes down to a lot more positional play. +3 weapons on the way for the Terran player. And that's what, +3 weapons, +1 armor. We've got +2 carapace for the Zerg ground units. We don't see +3 on the way yet, but we do see a Defiler Mound. Dark Swarm would be absolutely phenomenal to see. It's one of the funnest spells, I think, to watch in the game because it's so, you have to cast the spell and then you have to utilize it properly as well. And this bunker gets surrounded, so this base might actually have a tough time staying alive here. Dirtybag continuing to move his main force across the map, though. These SCVs getting taken out. The 2 defensive structures get taken out. SCV getting called down to this mineral field for some reason. But the Marines and a couple of medics going to run up here. Should be able to clean this up, especially with the reinforcements from down here as well. Science Vessel there just for S's and G's to make sure that, I guess, no lurkers just wander their way over and start wrecking shop. Science Vessel moving forward. We're going to pick off a couple of lurkers before this Terran force tries to push in here. But drones, really dedicated to returning their minerals, going to walk right past this giant army thinking that they can make something happen when they, of course, can't. Lurkers not really in the greatest position, and they're going to try to reposition themselves as the Marines run up the ramp. And pretty decent position, I'd say. The Scourge finally making connection, taking out one of the Science Vessels. And this base suddenly looking like it's in a lot of trouble. Lurker's not able to get in the right position. Spinecrawler gets taken out. Zergling's going to come in for the surround as the Lurkers move up. The Lurkers do get taken out before they do much. So now it's just Zerglings versus this giant bio ball, and this base looks like it will fall. Dirtybag also going to push out with some more forces from down here out of his natural base. And this does fall. The Queen trying to enrage here to provide some cover for these Lurkers, but the Queen gets taken out, and the Lurkers look like they'll follow suit shortly after. Terran forces might be actually trapped up here, but not really a big deal as the main army now is going to come bearing down on the natural of Franscar. Franscar trying to get more lurkers up. He's moving his lurkers that are already created forward, and then Dirtybag just going to change direction and run up here. Lurkers are so good, but they're so hard to utilize properly when your Terran player is just bouncing all over the place. And you see lurkers up here trying to get in position too. Scan's going to reveal all the lurkers that are up here. I'd imagine some Science Vessels are going to come down and throw it. Radiates down on the higher health lurkers, knowing that this one's going to get picked off pretty quickly anyway. So many irradiates, holy cow. No lurkers shall live here. Then Dirtybag going to come down here and make sure this base isn't being retaken. And all these lurkers just eventually going to go down. This energy will regenerate, and really, I mean, it's free money for Dirtybag. This base is mining through all this though, so it's important to keep in mind. It's not like Franscar is out of this or anything. He's just having a really rough time at the moment. Definitely not something that's impossible to come back from. We've got a big drop coming down here. What do we have inside? We've got lurkers, and mostly a lot of lurkers. We have also got about 1.5 overlords full of Zerglings. What is he going to make happen here? He can go into the natural. There's only 1 missile turret, not likely to lose anything to that. But Dark Swarm here on these lurkers, really nice. Gonna be able to hold this for just a little bit. The Defiler did get taken out though. Irradiate gonna go down, take out a couple more of these lurkers. And it's really the Irradiate that's just ruining Franscar's day right now, but the drop gonna continue here going into the main. Marines streaming out here, they're gonna sit there, they're gonna stim and try to focus down a couple of overlords. And the Zerglings start to unload, they're gonna start picking these off. And the lurkers burrow right here at the ramp. Any reinforcements are done for. Spewing the creep all over the place. Really not a huge deal right now at this position in the base. But now Dirtybag's got to worry about, he's got to focus. The big thing is that his control that he's going to sacrifice here. Like, see all these Marines just funneling through this small area here, losing these Marines for free because he's focusing on trying to make sure that he doesn't lose everything in his main. and finally does move those forces out of the way. The science vessel is going to come in here and try to irradiate everything, but the spore crawler picks off one of the science vessels real quick, and there go the irradiates. And the lurker's doing work, taking out production facilities. Tech labs have fallen. And Franscar going to try to reinforce this outside of Dirtybag's natural. Command center coming up here. Not going to be able to land anywhere up here, though, until he gets some units up there to clean it up. Irradiate cleaning up one of the lurkers. And then Franscar going to try to stream some more in. Darkstorm going down over top of this lurker. This lurker is safe for a long time now. These Zerglings going to take out a couple of Marines as well. More Defilers moving up in here. If he can get the Defilers up here to these lurkers on the high ground, then I don't know what Dirtybag's going to do against this. But the Defilers staying down here on the low ground. This is Zergling. I don't know. This is a weird little fight here. A Zergling that's getting attacked versus two medics healing each other. And finally, the Zergling just gives up. That's weird. Is he on hold position, maybe? He just doesn't even care. Radiate going down on the Defiler, though. Getting taken out. Zerg units coming over here trying to make sure that not like 1 or 2 Marines comes up here to clean this up. But Dirtybag's main force returns home to finally clean up this huge assault from Franscar. And lurkers will eventually get taken out. And they can resume mining here. It's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of immeasurable damage that was done during that assault as well. We're going to take a look at the income here. We'll bring up even the graph so we can see it a little bit visually. You can see that Franscar obviously taking quite a big control with the gas there. Slight control with the minerals. He is lower on workers, but he has have them spread out again across more bases, which is just absolutely awesome mechanic for Starbow, I think. Have those units spread out, you know, encouraging you to take more bases so that even if you have a lower worker count, you can have a higher income. And Franscar are going to try to hold here at the ramp. Darkstorm going down, but the Irradiate so strong, going to take out the Defilers, the Scourge, and the Lurkers, and leave only Zerglings. And then again, the Science Vessel force fields really coming into effect, and Lurkers will get taken out. A couple of Ultralists, a couple of Vipers on the way. If he could, what does he have? He doesn't have Abduct evolved. So, but I would like to see some Abducts on these Science Vessels. I think that would be huge, but he'd need a lot of Abducts at this point. That's really that big problem that I'm seeing with Franscar's army right now, is that he's been trading really effectively with Dirtybag's throwaway army. He hasn't been able to take out the Science Vessels, though, so we just get this giant Science Vessel cloud going on that's just going to eventually be able to, like, throw Irradiates down on the Zerglings. He's got so many. And he might have, these Lurkers might actually get quite a few shots off here. Dark Storm going down, these will definitely scare these forces out of here. The Science Vessel's forced to turn around. There we go. I'm surprised they didn't turn around a little bit sooner, but the Irradiate going to go down any second now, I'm sure of it. There we go. There, they all go down. And all of Franscar's units now have become a time bomb. Meanwhile, though, Dirtybag taking out this base. A couple of Ultralists going to come down here and try to hero it through these Marines. Definitely not going to happen. Taking out a couple of Marines, definitely not a cost-effective trade by any means, though. And Franscar is looking like he's in a lot of trouble. Sure, he has the income lead, or at least he did. I'm not sure if he still does. Yeah, he still does have an income lead. But can he really do anything about it? The Zergling is going to clean up these Marines, which means that this base is going to be delayed a little bit longer. One Zergling still remains. Big dropship going to come up here, going to bypass these defenses. He did see it coming, though, so he's going to have a couple of Zerglings in place to deal with this, but I'm not sure it's enough. He's slowly picking apart these Marines as they unload, and it definitely is enough as these other Zerglings stream up the ramp. Another dropship showing up, though, to provide some reinforcements, and now these Zerglings are not enough once again. And Franscar really needs an answer to this air superiority that the Terran player has. A couple more Scourge coming out here. And the Zerglings is going to stream in here. Darkstorm going down, going to provide cover for these Lurkers as they burrow, and they do burrow while Dirtybag's not paying attention. And it looks like all but one will get taken out, all but one Marine, and that drop is cleaned up. Workers can go back to mining. Dirtybag's main force moving across the field here, though. We've got a huge Science Vessel cloud. I mean, I just can't stress how terrifying that is enough. And Dirtybag actually going to be trying to take Franscar. Was originally Franscar's third. Another drop going off up here in the top right base while the main force sits outside of the natural to that base. And a couple of transferring workers here are going to let Dirtybag know that this base is being retaken. And And Science Vessel is going to move forward and irradiate on all these lurkers except for this one. Cheeky little bastard, going to hang out under his friend's cloud and pretend like he's been hit too. Scourge do make a couple of connections, but he really needs to get rid of all these Science Vessels, not just one or two. And this drop still doing a lot of work here, preventing mining for the lower half of these minerals. A couple of Zerglings going to fly in here and finally clean that up. Marines going to come down here and shut down this base. Gonna have to see it cancel. Big drop in the main as well. And Franscar is just running out of options. He doesn't have enough forces to deal with all these threats. He's got a couple of spellcaster units right here. It looks like this is where he's going to mount his final defensive eventually. He's got a couple of lurkers in place to deal with anything up here. And then he's got a couple of spellcasters down here that this is where he's going to have to deal with the main force. He's going to try to come up here and make some things happen in Dirtybag's 5th base. And the lurkers getting picked off before they can do anything. Darkstorm going down over top of the Defilers, and the Defilers just quit in give up mode here. Gonna just live under this Darkstorm for the rest of their days, it looks like. Yeah, they're just oh, and the lurker finally shows up. Another Darkstorm going down, and the Defiler gets taken out there. Still had another Darkstorm to throw down too. And second Darkstorm going down. Another lurker burrows, and this assault actually is gonna start to do work. We've also got Franscar assaulting this base up at the top left side, but he just doesn't have enough Zerglings there. With the repair, this bunker will live, and there's even a second bunker there to help out. Darkstorm fades, and a couple of Zerglings get taken out. These lurkers continuing to try to pummel away at this command center. This Defiler not having enough for another Darkstorm could consume if one of those Zerglings would come running back up there. 3 Science Vessels coming down will throw down irradiates on all 3 of these units, and that will end this pressure. Another big Marine drop up here. Dirtybag just all over the map, not something that this is like the stuff that nightmares are made of. The lurker though running underneath this dark swarm and will be able to do a little bit of damage, but not going to be able to hold on. Franscar calls the GG right there, and just really great play. There was a little bit there where Franscar looked like he was going to take the game, but Dirtybag just able to be everywhere. Like, the guy is insane. You can look at the APM here. We see that it's hovering around 160 for both players, so just really crazy. I don't know. I think APM is just kind of fun to watch, especially at the end of the game when it kind of averages out. Of course, there's a lot of APM spam at the beginning a lot of the time, but by the end of the game, that's more what people are actually doing, and these guys are actually doing quite a bit. So thank you to Dirtybag for sending that in. Thank you to Franscar for being awesome, and Dirtybag as well. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.